Hello, and welcome to Kids Club.
From the curate's study. It's good to have you all here with us again today. And we've got a special friend with us this morning. I don't know if you can see her. Turn around, look over here. What's this? Look. She's probably not going to turn around. She's a little bit shy. This is Lola. This is our new dog. We haven't had her for very long. And she's absolutely lovely. And she's a German Shepherd and Rottweiler cross. And she's very protective of us. She likes to look after us. So wherever we go anywhere, she walks very close. She sits very close. And she likes to be where we are. Now, what are we gonna do today, Sam?
So we're going to have a Bible reading, a bit of craft, and then a prayer at the end, as always.
That would be excellent, won't it, Lola? We will enjoy that. Now, I don't know if you remember what happened last week in our story. Last week, the disciples, the followers of Jesus, had healed a man, hadn't they? And they got in trouble with it because of it. And it turned out that some of the religious leaders of the day were getting very upset with the disciples, and they were watching very closely what they were doing. And it's the story that Sammy's going to tell us in a minute. It's going to explain a bit how that works. But hang on, Lola can hear somebody at the door. Who is it, we think? I've got a nasty feeling I know.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Annie.
Annie who?
Anything you can do, I can do better.
Lola's so disgusting she's lying down. Anyway, let's ignore the knock knock man. Come on then, Sammy. Give us our story this morning.
Each day, the apostles met at one of the temple gates. They talked to the crowds about Jesus. Many believed them and became followers of Christ. Others were scared of getting into trouble. They did not get too close, but listened anyway. The religious leaders grew angrier and angrier about all of this. They were very jealous. They did not want to ever hear about Jesus again. Yet more people were believing in him than ever. How was it possible? Finally, they ordered the guards to throw the apostles into prison. During the night, God sent an angel of the Lord to them. He opened the prison door and said, "Go your way, you are free. Go back and tell all the people at the temple about the new life in Jesus." The apostles went back to the temple just as the angels had told them. In the morning, the chief priests heard the apostles had escaped. Now, they were even more worried than ever. "Those men you're looking for are talking to the people at the temple," someone told them. So the captain of the guard brought the apostles back to the priest. There were questions. "We told you not to teach about Jesus anymore." Peter and the apostles said, "We must obey God rather than man. Jesus lives again. Through him, we can now be forgiven, if we turn to God. We know this because we have seen it happen. Besides, you are the ones who hung him on a cross." Some of the religious leaders became so angry when they heard this, they wanted to kill the apostles right there. A certain wise Pharisee told them, "You'll be better off letting these men go if they're making things up. The people who follow them will stop believing if this is from God. It will last and be no real matter what you do. Be careful, or you might even find yourself fighting God." Religious leaders could do no more than the apostles. They were finally allowed to go. The apostles walked home. They were happy because they had been worthy to suffer for Jesus. The very next day, they kept right on teaching about Jesus.
They weren't going to let those religious leaders bully them into talking about their faith, were they? And they had the angels to protect them, sent by God. What a lovely story. Well, now the knock knock man has left us in peace and Lola's fallen asleep, it's time for some craft. So we'll see what Angie's going to make for us today.
Hello and welcome to the Kids Club and it's craft time. Today we've heard about the angel rescuing the disciples from jail. So I thought we would have a craft where we made prayer chains. So obviously when the disciples were put into jail, they would have had chains put around them and obviously the angel came and freed those and opened the door. So if we cut some strips of paper, I've chosen paper that looked a little bit like rusty chains, and then what we can do is write our prayers on these to help us remember what Jesus has done for us and what the disciples were trying to tell everyone. So one of the things the angels would have said was, "You are free." So this is really useful to remember, because we are free. There we go. There's you could put something like, "Speak the truth," because the angel encouraged the disciples to go back out, even though they'd been arrested, to go back out to the crowds and carry on telling them about Jesus' story. And we could put other things on our prayer chains, thanking God for all the things that we have, and any other prayers that you have. And then what we can do is, if we get our glue, and then glue one end and then turn it round on itself and stick it together, and then we thread each of the prayers round and glue, and when you've finished you can hang them up somewhere in your house where it's visible, and it will be a little reminder each day to just thank God for all the things that He's done for us, the fact that we are free like the disciples were, and for all the other things that we are thankful for. There we are. Thank you for watching.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Remember, you can always go back and look at some of the other things that Auntie Sarah and her girls, or that Angie have made in previous kids clubs, if you fancy doing something or if you get a bit bored. But now, before we finish, Sammy is going to lead us in a prayer.
This prayer you can say at night, well, before you go to bed, or you can say it if you're scared, because it talks about protection. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray thee, Lord, thy child to keep. Thy love to guard me through the night, and wake me in the morning light. Lord, keep us safe this night, secure from all our fears. May angels guard us while we sleep, till morning light appears. Amen.
I wonder if that's the sort of prayer that the disciples prayed when they were locked up in the jail overnight, before the angels came and set them free. Anyway, it's been lovely to spend some time with you again, my friends, today in the Curate Study here at Kids Club with Sammy and I. Sammy and I will look forward to seeing you again next week. So until we meet again, may our God hold you in the palm of his hand. God bless. Goodbye.